Hey, fellow babies. Welcome to this week's edition of Pach-Attack. All right, we have a question from Sputnik5. Why are arcades so prominent and successful in Japan but unviable in the States? Arcades used to represent the forefront of gaming in the same manner trade shows do today. Could bringing the showcase demos of E3 to the arcade be a viable business practice? In a word, Japan is a weird place, and the people are just a lot weirder than most people in the West. And I have a favorite film that talks about that called Lost in Translation with Bill Murray. All you have to do is watch that film. It's hilarious, but it's about a U.S. guy in Japan, and he can't figure out anything that's going on because the consumption of entertainment is just different. Game shows there are different. The people just embrace things that aren't typically embraced in the West. So the Japanese market is different than the U.S. market. I don't know why. Possibly, part of it on the arcade side is because people live in very small spaces. I mean, the average home is literally like under 1,000 square feet. So people have no space. And in the West, people have a lot more space to move around. But I really couldn't tell you. Again, I talk a lot about scotch and cigars. One of my favorite things from that movie, you're going to have to rent the movie to see this, but Bill Murray's in the movie, and he's has been an American actor, and he's hired by Suntory, a Japanese company that makes scotch of all things. And I remember his line was, "Yamazaki, ai." So he drinks Suntory Yamazaki. I've got actually another really great gaming story for Yamazaki. So I was out with Charles and Kai Wong, who are the creators of Guitar Hero, if you remember those guys. Obviously Harmonix made the game, but these are the guys who owned Red Octane. Red Octane was the developer, the publisher of Guitar Hero. And I went to the Tokyo Game Show, and I was with those guys shortly after they sold their company to Activision for $150 million. And so I was in the Tokyo Grand Hyatt, I believe it was, and they were drinking martinis, because why wouldn't you be drinking martinis if you're an American in Tokyo? And I ordered a Yamazaki, hai, as did they after I had the first one, and the other four guys they were with. So we went through 6 each. I believe there were 6 or 7 of us, so we went through something like 42 Yamazakis before we discovered that they were $35 a piece. And I can promise you that my good friend Charles Wong paid the bill because he could. That's my Japanese story. Okay, this week's next question from Twitter, @BanicUK. Here's possibly a stupid question. Why doesn't Sony simply lower the price of the Vita to encourage sales? Should I call this guy stupid? I don't think I'm gonna call this guy stupid. Okay, it wasn't possibly a stupid question. It makes sense, obviously, if you remember supply and demand, guns and butter. Gotta have the lower the price, the higher demand for a device. And so you're right, if they lower the price of the Vita, sales will go up. The problem is that Sony probably isn't making any money on the Vita. So although it sounds expensive at $250, it's pretty powerful. I mean, it's got the dual touch screen, it's got a pretty fast processor. If you think about it and compare it, say, to an iPhone, it's pretty comparable to an iPhone, that sells for $500. So it's not cheap to make. Now, I know Apple makes a ton of money on those. My guess is, though, that the Vita's costing probably $229 or more to make, and Sony's probably not making much money at all. So the real reason they don't lower the price is Sony loses money in everything they do. They can't afford to lose more money in the gaming division. It doesn't make sense if they're making $1 or $5 profit to cut the price by $50 and lose $50 per unit. There's an old saying, yeah, we're not making any money on sales of this item, so let's lower the price and make up for it in volume. You lose more money, so it doesn't help at all. So the answer, the stupid answer to your very intelligent question is, it's a profit deal. That's why they don't cut the price. All right, so our next question comes from Polygon Mesh. Mr. Pachter, should ties be hung or folded? If a tie becomes dirty, can it be dry cleaned? I have to answer this very specifically. If your tie is made from silk, then it should be hung. And if it's made from silk, it should be dry cleaned. Now there are ties that are made from other materials. There actually is such a thing as a cotton tie. I would probably dry clean that as well, because ties are constructed, they have really interesting construction. Sorry, I'm gonna show off all my microphone tape and stuff. But this is a bunch of pieces that are all kind of stitched together, and there's something inside to make it have this shape. If you wash it, and a silk won't wash, you have to dry clean, but if you wash a cotton tie, the shape will just get destroyed. So dry clean, yes, you can do so. Hang, yes, because you want it to keep this shape. Why wear a tie? I have no idea. I think that they invented ties because guys would drool all over themselves and it kept their shirts clean, and I think that was the original purpose. Now we wear them because there's still a lot of the world that's run by old guys who care about how we look. So here we are, old guy. I'm wearing, I think I just showed this off, didn't I? Can you show brands? This is an Aqua Scutum tie for my UK fans. You guys probably know what Aqua Scutum is. Guys in the US have no idea what that is. I think there's one store left in the United States. There used to be 4. Anyway, yes, you can dry clean them. I don't spill on my ties very frequently. I did, in fact, have a cup of coffee. I'm going to use a generic one here. And I spilled on a tie recently because where the seam is, there's a flaw in the design. This is something that should be patented. There's a flaw in the design. If you put the sip hole over the seam, the cup is guaranteed to drip onto your tie. I was in Boston sipping a coffee that someone bought for me, which is very kind of them, and it dripped all over my tie, and I had it dry cleaned, and all the brown came out of my blue tie, so I'm very happy about that. And so instead of buying another tie for, I'm the pack, so I spend a lot on ties, for whatever, $100, I was able to dry clean it for about $3 or $4, and I can wear that tie for another year or 2, and I'm very happy. I do buy ties from people like Aqua Scutum and Versace, which I pronounce Versace, as you know. But I buy them at a discount online. I recommend you guys buy everything you can find at a discount online. If you are looking for games at a discount online, please visit my friend Cheap Ass Gamer. He's the best, and he'll help you find bargains. They don't compete with GameTrailers, so we can mention them. All right, fellow babies, that's it for this week's edition of Pach-Attack. If you have questions, please direct them to the link below. And if you'd like to ask me a question on Twitter, please send them to @MichaelPachter on Twitter and copy @RohanLikesPants, because Rohan likes pants.
See this and other GT shows and game reviews on the GT Originals iOS app, available now on the App Store.